So it's the second day as we're investigating the video that Mrs. T captured, and I saw what was behind the truck. Um, Jen Watkins is with us, John Rafferty is with us, and Max Powers is with us. Now, Mrs. T is at home. She's taking care of a medical situation with my mother, but tonight we're going to focus in on the area south of where that video was taken. Now, in this video, you're going to see green lettering. That's audio that has been taken from the video recorder when we went out via the M3. Same audio problems will persist, and that I didn't have the M3 set up correctly, and that's my shotgun microphone. And you'll also see lettering in yellow. Now, the yellow lettering is the recorder that I left back at the Rasta sighting site. And the microphone hooked up to a Sony recorder, stuffed in a Lay's potato chip can, which is plastic, with the lid put on, and usually a piece of cellophane over the end to make it watertight. And what's at the end? Oh, and also, in certain situations, I'm now screen recording Audacity, and you'll be able to actually see a spectrogram that you're more familiar with, which is frequency over time, versus these spectrographs, which are musical notes over time. Okay, I like using both. I like the CQT a little bit better in situations. And because I've been using it for so long, I can now spot, what keys canines are in, which is usually like the A key, and, owls and everything else. So, yeah, we're going to start off sequentially with the first recording that was taken that night. It's not, it's a distant recording. So, just to give you a heads up, it might be a little bit hard to hear when I do these videos and when I make things. I'm hearing them pretty well. I do have Dolby Atmos on, but one of the problems I found is that when I upload audio captures and stuff like that, the compression sequence between the upload and YouTube, you usually lose a bit of quality, and sometimes what I've captured is not coming through. So you kind of got to look for, and I'll stop and I'll say, I'm looking for a specific spot, say like this little spot here or something like that, if it becomes an issue. But like I said, we're going to start off with an audio recording taken back at the Rasta sighting site. Then we're going to switch just to the campground. And the reason why I'm throwing that in there is I want you to take a look and notice the difference between, remnant heat, as I call it, false reads, or just temperatures above the ambient, which show up as orange, and true good hits. Now, there'll be a little signal, and then you'll see the cameras. Pay attention to the cameras and how the cameras read in the thermal, because that's going to become important later on. So if you're new to my channel, the way I categorize this title block, the first number is going to be the reference as to which file it came from. The next is the recording time. And then following that is the T time, which is the time of day that it was recorded. So in this case, 2056 translates to 8:56 p.m. And after that comes a title. Sometimes one's there, sometimes one is not there. And the reason I do that, if somebody does ask for the file, I just say, okay, here you go. And, there they go. They have the file number, they have the place to look for it, and they have the time, and they can do the work and pull it out themselves. So here we go. So that was a distant audio, and it is pretty well far off. And, that's one of the issues with audio is that you can't really get distance out of it. Now, you can do a step off as far as how far your audio recorder will record at any given time. But one of the things that you run into, thanks to the physics of sound, in certain conditions, an audio can come from miles away. Certain conditions that audio might only travel, 100 feet, and sometimes even less, 50 feet. It really just depends on the amount of canopy, the topography, believe it or not, because if you got an open topography that's V-shaped, that can greatly increase the sound. But, here, there's nothing, as far as I'm aware of, other than the highway, that can produce, a large enough decibel that can reach back here. Now, as far as other people in the camp, that night there was a couple just on the wood line next to us. They didn't leave their area, and another vehicle had came in later on, and they stayed just up the road and to the left. They didn't go this far back. And after that, as you're going to find out, I went to bed early. I really can't say because I didn't see, or wasn't paying attention to the road as far as how many people came in and out that night. And, I don't believe anybody was back there because nobody was there that next morning. We do keep a pretty good track of who goes in, comes out. And, the one couple leaves, the other couple moves and takes their spot because apparently they got freaked out where they was at. And, yeah, I don't really have reason to believe anybody was back there.
Jones area?
Nah.
Sasquatch with it.
Going this way, John.
We're going that way?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we were headed up this way.
We will.
Alright.
Where's the map?
He just has to straighten something out there. Something out there.
Searching for the hummingbird moth is best done along a wild meadow where there's wildflowers. They'll fly along looking for just the right flower they're looking for to get the nectar that they need to survive. The humming sound from their wings is so close to a hummingbird that you really will do a double take. It was sound, not sight, that led me to this beautiful example of mimicry in the natural world. I'm trying to use my hand for scale because they're tiny just like a hummingbird. Look at the wing beat and the behavior of this beautiful moth. As long as I move slow and cautiously, they won't even be bothered by my hand being nearby for scale. They look so much like a hummingbird from a few feet away that you can't even tell them apart. They sound so much like a hummingbird that you'll think that that's what you're looking at until you get a really close look.
So it wasn't exactly a hummingbird hawk moth creating the vibration that you're hearing in the audio. It was its larger nocturnal cousin, the five-spotted hawk moth, which is native to the area and is native across the United States from the eastern seaboard to the western seaboard. Because insect wings are not as efficient as avian wings, bird wings, they are a little bit louder. They have a little bit more percussion to them as they're flying. And because of that, well, they also flap their wings a lot more than the bird species does. And they flap those wings enough to where their thoracic temperature will get up to 141 degrees Fahrenheit. So they're easy to spot on thermal. Now, if you watch the thermal, there's at least one in a tree and then the one that was flying. And what they do is they hunt via UV their flowers to feed on nectar, and then they come into the woods to lay their eggs for the next brood. They have a short lifespan. So, yeah, it wasn't a hum. It wasn't a purr. It was simply the beating of insect wings.
First one knock I've heard. So I doubt you can see it. When you see how big that ditch is right there.
Somehow.
There's a hillside right over there, and that's where it was at.
That makes more sense. Because it did seem as if that it was going uphill. Slightly.
And the wood rat's going crazy. So this is an old overflow right in here. Whatever it was behind one of them trees on the far side. The ice shine that the truck seen and I could see in the video when I brightened it up. I went this way. And we're a little bit off trail, so we need to come over this way. So right about there's where the truck was, and she was meeting up in here. Now, over here,
That's on the other side
there's
of
a,
the ditch.
yeah, see? Took a while for it to load.
Yeah, there you go.
You see it was somewhere right in here.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit past it, but
Aren't we over? Yeah, we're over here.
yeah.
We gotta go past the ditch and over and
Yeah, I don't really want to go over there until daylight.
copy that.
So,
That's a, what's that?
that one. Jonathan, make a note
Where?
I'm hearing
where you're
some,
pointing. So,
huffs.
yeah. But then there was like an audible of some sort.
I haven't heard anything in very long.
Okay.
So, the next place we want to go, how do I get the compass moving?
tools.
Tools.
The bottom third one over. And it's up towards the top. Left.
Oh. Yeah, damn it. I'll have to take me over there. Okay. We're gonna head over here. Keep an eye on the ground. What?
Back here.
No, I'm gonna show you that other ditch. Find an easy way around this. That wasn't you guys, was it?
So I don't know if that was in my parabolic.
Ah, okay, I won something. This ditch right here, that's the one I crawled up out of. And this is the one that leads to that culvert. And this is where I found the tracks in the culvert.
Okay.
Where'd John go?
Right over here.
Okay. No, according to this one, I'm close to it. But it's right there in front of me.
It's a different ditch.
Did we get turned around?
Probably only about 30 foot.
That's got to be it.
There's a coyote.
It says we're only 50 yards off the road. I don't trust all this shit.
If you have bad service,
Yeah.
it's not accurate.
It takes a while to catch up.
But I'm pretty sure we walked straight across. This looks about right. I don't want to walk down in there because I had hell getting out of it.
Yeah. Probably not a nighttime
There,
thing.
just heard a knock
Mhm.
in the parabolic.
South of us.
Could have been an acorn. I can hear stuff dropping.
That was. No, I heard that. That was.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Onyx doesn't know where the fuck we're at. Alright. See anything right in front of us? Or are you listening to the ride?
Listening. It's 3 times I've heard just a single high pitch kind of.
Well, we did walk right back to where we came from.
Yeah. That's that beach here right there where we all had to hold them painkillers and laugh each other. You just walked over the other way, but you just turned around and walked right back.
Come on.
I think we have deer over there.
Okay, let's try it again. That's not right. That can't be right.
What can't be?
He keeps wanting to send us down in this damn gully. No matter which way I go, it wants to go down the fucking gully.
Just walk the edge of the gully back to the road.
What's that?
Just walk the edge of the gully back to the road.
Well, it should be that way, right?
No, it's that way.
Okay. Did I get turned around?
You did.
Okay.
But it still keeps pointing to the gully. Right?
Yeah.
I wonder why that is. First letter.
That's telling me that we're going further back in the first. What's that? Oh, yeah, you're right.
Ready to go up the hill, Bill, or?
Actually, I think I'm gonna go sit down, guys.
Alright, yeah, you seem tuckered out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm spent. Okay. Just be careful.
Yeah, we will.
All right.
You hear us screaming, come around, man. What you got there?
Radio.
Oh, you got any earphones? It's
No.
kind of hard to stay incognito when
Give
you're
it,
screaming on this thing.
Well, you guys scream first. Just give it to.
Alright, here, you take that.
I gotta go sit down.
Alright?
So what happened there? Why did I suddenly fall out for the night? Well, a couple things happened there. Now, first off, I have a very extensive background as far as doing night operations, night orienteering, getting from point A to point B in the dark, far more so than just hunting. And I'm going to stop right there with that because that's all that needs to be said. However, this night, I didn't obey the basics, okay? I lost track of where I was, and then rather than staying with the basics, I went to an app. And so basically, I'm looking down at my phone in the woods, in the dark, and basically what I am doing is I'm putting my head on the top of a baseball bat and running around in circles, getting myself dizzy and losing my orientation. So, in this particular situation, I know I've got a roadway to my east, a gully, not really a gully, but more like a wash. I'm both my north and my south, and but here I just combination of not following the basics, looking down at the phone, losing track of my landmarks, and going to tech as opposed to relying on things that I know that work. Just got me confused and disoriented. A couple other things that didn't work out as well was the fact that we was up until 4:30 in the morning the night prior, and as I went to sleep that night, for whatever issue, I had problems with my CPAP. I have to have the assistant sleeping, or else I don't sleep well, and I couldn't breathe all night. And I fought with that during the night, so I barely had any sleep, maybe an hour of sleep between the previous night and this, and I didn't sleep during the day. So, yeah, I wasn't taken out by infrasound. I didn't get lost because I was confused by infrasound. I was lost because I was out way too late, not enough sleep, and, I just didn't follow the basics. And, yeah, I went to tech, and the tech failed me. Maybe would have been better off, like if I had an E-Trax or something like that. But the onX app, for as good as it is, once you're under a canopy, and that goes for any GPS app, once you're underneath a canopy, you can lose signal, and you can get lost using electronics. So it's always best to know your topography, carry a compass, just work with the basic fundamental stuff. Also carry a backup compass. Always have a backup compass. So, but yeah, that's why I went to bed early, and that was the night. Now, the rest of this is going to be all recordings from the Rasta sighting site. Now, a couple things I do have to say here is in regards to the physics of sound. Because it has been brought up about, you can have a guy staying over here, say something going down through a valley and whatnot. And that's all true. You can have a decibel sound or whatnot, like I said, in a valley or whatever, that can, bounce off the acoustics or whatever of the topography and, give you a vocal or an audio recording or a distortion even. From a distance. Now, but there's a couple other parts here that has to be given attention. Attention number one is the state of the canopy. Are you on a canopy? If you're in a canopy, that deadens the sound. Number two, temperature. Sound travels further in colder air than it does warm. Next one, humidity. The more humid the situation is, you can get some sound deadening from that, because it's kind of like, it's hard to describe, but you think of it kind of like your car hitting rain droplets. The faster you go, the more interference with the rain droplets, and the louder the inside of the car gets. Excuse me. And the faster that you lose that audio sound. Next one would be barometric pressure, because there is a difference in how sound travels as far as light versus heavy air, and there is such a thing. I deal with it at work all the time. as far as draft and energies that I spend time working with. So, yeah, heavier air, better conductive surface. You kind of got to think of it at times like, electricity, trying to conduct electricity through lead, it just doesn't work versus conducting, electricity through um, uh, copper, which is a great conductor, and silver, which is the best. So there's a lot there that you got to be mindful of. And again, distance, stuff that's going on. So in this particular instance, we have 45 degrees. So we got cold temperatures. We have a canopy. We are in a forest. We're in a topography wise, we're in a large open valley. We do get decibel sounds from the highway traveling to the location. The nearest areas that I would expect that we are cleared by, we probably have a 3/4 mile radius. Not that far. A 1/4 mile radius at least, all the way around the site. So, yeah, that's all stuff to consider and all stuff that's, part of this whole thing. Now, this particular audio recorder, it is a cardioid, which what that means is that you're only recording basically in one direction in one funnel type of shape. Stuff behind it can be distorted, but for the most part, like if you listen to the first night when me and John, we crossed over to the far side, it didn't pick us up over there talking or anything like that. We were elevated. So that's at least one reference point that I have as far as, how far the sound was traveling, how much noise. Basically, when me and John left the area, and got probably about, I'd say 100 yards or so, the recorder stopped picking us up. So with that said, let's get into our recordings. So in this recording here, it does sound like something is throwing a rock or something. It sounds like the grunt that a pitcher makes when a ball is thrown. Then you hear an impact, and then you hear another little wood knock, and then you'll hear a grunt. There's also some garbage going on in there, which it sounds like, some form of speech or I'm not quite sure what it is, but let's play it together. So there's the throw and impact. So right here, this diagonal line is that, excuse me, this diagonal line is the grunt you hear, and this is the impact. Now I've listened for this quite a bit, or excuse me, listened to this quite a bit, trying to decide if this is actually a grunt of a throw or a release, because oftentimes pine trees and release their pine cones, walnut trees, acorn trees, when they release that nut, when that sudden weight comes off of the branch, you hear the recoil of the branch going up. And I'm not hearing any recoil on this. I'm not hearing that traditional sound. So that's one thing that's very interesting to me, as just along with the grunt and just the sheer sound of it. And then as it plays, right there, I start hearing some garbage right in there. And that sounds like a vocalizations, almost sounds like some kind of speech. And note where it's at. This blue area is usually, when you don't get fundamentals and it's, distant human talking, it often lands in this blue area. And there's that little knock I was talking about. And there's that second grunt. So, yeah, it sounds like something grunts. There's an impact. Then there's some kind of, I don't know how to describe it. It sounds like something talking or something vocalizing. And then you have that other little knock, and then you have this another little grunt here. So let's play it. Now, another thing that's going on, so basically, I went through and did Audacity first, did the spectrogram through Audacity, then I took the clip over to Audiolab, which is this program right here, and I built the CQT with it. And what you're going to hear is like the very first piece is a raw audio, and then it builds up in volume, and then I'll like try to take out whatever noise I can take out. And then I'll get to the very end piece, which is usually just like the pieces parts of the audio capture. And what you're hearing right here is just, as you can see, the diagonal. That's that grunt sound of some, like I said, it sounds like a pitcher. It sounds like a pitcher on the mound throwing a ball. And that very last piece right there is that grunt, and it stands out pretty well right there. So yeah, that's how it shows up. That's what it looks like. Could it still be that release I was talking about? Could it still been like a mass crop being released by a tree and then having an impact and ricocheting, and then having another little impact, and then, coming to rest? That's very possible. So, but I do find this interesting by the sound of it, but it is what it is. And that's the problem with audio too, right? Is that it's a sound, it's a unknown vocal or an unknown audio that you really can't you can't really say that this is the target that we're chasing down, because you don't really even have proof that the target is making this sound. You just have audio that might be making it, and that's the best you can do. Okay. So this one here, it does sound like a conversation. I don't know if I would call it a conversation per se, because the voice is very weird. But now that you've heard and seen it on both spectrograms, let's play this one. Okay, so right there is the first sound. It sounds like speech, and you can see it right there, that kind of bizarre looking shape. Prior to this, looks like a grunt. And then you have this form of speech again in that blue area. Let's play some more. Like an exhale or something right there. Okay, this over here, not quite certain what that is. This over here that you're seeing in this vertical line, that is the highway making that noise, along with some of these straight lines. When you see straight lines like this, okay, on a spectrogram, that's background noise as far as like highway or mechanical sounds. When you see on CQT horizontal lines and movement, that's usually some form of vocalization. Right there, some kind of vocalization. You can actually see the fundamentals. Another one. And there's actually another piece of vocal back in there towards the end. Let's play this one through. First vocalization there. And then as it progresses, I think I zoom in just on that vocalization part. I'm still pumping audio or volume to it, actually. Let's go with this one. And you can see it. Now, I can hear what I think is being said. And hopefully by now, you have in your mind what you think you're hearing is being said. To me, it sounds like they love me. Don't really get it, but it's there. And now I'm not sure if that's clipping that's going on because I've put too much volume to it, but that, let me get back up here to where it was at. It's either clipping, which I think it is. I don't think it's another vocal, but I'm pretty sure it's clipping. So let's go over and look at the spectrogram. So in the spectrogram, right, your mechanical noise is going to stay straight in lines, always going to be straight lines. Notice you got this little bit of infrasound type area noise, and you know, vehicles do produce that. And then when you start seeing these vertical movements on the spectrogram, that's when you're recording or picking up some kind of vocalization, usually. Not always. Sometimes, you know, you get a big crash or whatever, it stands out like that. But let's play it. There's that vocalization. Right there's that second vocalization, whatever that is. It sounds a little bit, sounds like a conversation piece. Let's go to the louder version. And like I said, usually, again, you don't know the exact source. So we got a little bit more power in this last one. So let's go to it. And by power, it means that I've added volume, and have a listen. And there you have it. Okay, so this one has, it does sound familiar to me, though it sounds a little bit more distant than what I heard that day. And this goes back to my experience way back in 29 October 2022. So, yeah, I saw what I saw that morning, and I successfully told myself, you didn't see that. And I sat there in a tree in disbelief, and then, once I thought that I had debunked the situation, I sat there and enjoyed the morning watching deer. And then, somewhere around the noon time, because I sat late that morning up in the tree stand directly behind me, much louder than this. Much, much louder. And by the way, this looks more like a vocalization. But, yeah, the sound as I only describe as, like an old elevator door being thrown open directly behind me. And this really sparks that memory. Now, when I heard it, I about jumped out of the tree stand. But, I kept composure because I didn't know exactly what it was. And as I turned and I looked to my left, right at that moment, as I'm looking to my left, and trying to peer, I'm working to look behind me. A hawk came out of the sky and it dive bombed a squirrel or some rodent out there where I could see it. And at that moment, I told myself that, it must have been another hawk that was flying at me, and what I heard was the pressure wave of the bird striking its prey. So, yeah, that moment, it was there. It happened. Didn't last very long, but after I told myself, it was just another hawk dive bombing, kind of waited for a bit, a little bit more, and I climbed out of the tree. And then what happened that night happened that night. Yeah, nothing about that particular day was any way, shape, or form usual. But this, for whatever reason, triggers that memory. The sound before it, I don't know what that was either. Some people might say it's a cat, but cats only meow for their owners. They don't, or if it's a kit calling, or a kitten calling for its mother, they don't really vocalize without those two present. So don't know what that one was before it, and I said, I don't know what this one is here. It looks like a vocalization, both this and it looks like a vocalization here. But, it does bring back memories. Now, I do have a much better recording of that day that matches that particular day from West Virginia. And, but yeah, I don't know what it is, to be honest with you. But looking back on it now and how unusual that day was, I don't think it was a hawk.